Okay, so good afternoon to those who are in Europe. Good evening for those who are in Japan and Asia, and good morning to those who are in America. And welcome to the first of the two joint ECORD-Japan webinars on the joint vision for future scientific ocean drilling. ECORD, the European Consortium for Ocean Research Drilling, and JDESC, the Japanese Drilling Earth Science Consortium, offer two identical seminars in terms of contents, but different in terms of speakers and moderators in two different times that might be more convenient to the European and Japanese scientific communities. This is the first webinar, and the second is scheduled the day after tomorrow on Thursday, April 14th at 5 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. That is 10 a.m. Central European Time, 10 o'clock in the morning in Europe and 5 in the afternoon in Japan. The scope of these two webinars is to inform the scientific community of a new developing partnership between ECORD and Japan for future, and for future we intend post-2024 scientific ocean drilling. We hope and we trust that the seminars will be attended also by members of the scientific communities of other members of IODP. The seminars have a simple structure. The rationale for the development of the ECORD-Japan joint program will be presented by the Director of Operation Department of Mare 3 in JAMSTEC, Dr. Nobu Eguchi, today, and the day after tomorrow by the Director of the ECORD Managing Agency, Dr. Gilbert Camoir. Then a success story of ECORD-Japan cooperation in mission-specific platform expedition will be presented by two co-chief scientists, Professor Ken Ikehara of the Geological Survey of Japan and Professor Miki Strasser from the University of Innsbruck. And they will speak at the same time in both seminars. So the presentation will be of both. And we then have about 30 minutes, we will see how it goes, of time for a session of questions and answers. And you've seen the message in the chat. We ask you to type your questions, and with the help of Hanno Kinkel here in Trieste, we will sort the questions and invite the speakers to reply. The moderators of these two webinars will be, myself. My name is Angelo Camerlenghi. I am the ESSAC chair. The ESSAC is the ECORD Science Support and Advisory Committee. And next Thursday by Sanmi Saito, the Director of JDESC Support Office. So if there is I don't see any hand up or special messages, I propose that we start. So Eguchi-san will speak on the rationale for the development of an ECORD-Japan joint program. And Eguchi-san, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Angelo. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all. I think everybody can now see the presentation, yes? Okay.
Yes.
So as Angelo introduced about this webinar, we will introduce you about ECORD-Japan post-2024 scientific ocean drilling program. This is our vision. And as Angelo also introduced, so today I will give this talk on behalf of the post-2024 ECORD-Japan working group. And on Thursday, Gilbert Camoir will do the same. So this working group had a meeting already 8 times meetings, and we will create a kind of foundation idea of future scientific ocean drilling. And original rationale from the ECORD side is ECORD is intended to develop MSP concept by diversifying drilling and quarrying technologies and applying them to all drilling environments, as determined by scientific priorities, operational efficiency, and better value of money. And the Japan side also thinks that drilling vessel Chikyu, research vessel Kaimei, and the Kochi Core Center are crucial facilities for the successful implementation of the 2050 science framework and the post-IODP programs. And as you can hear in detail in the latter half of this webinar, we had a collaborative IODP expedition 386, last year, and those coaches will tell us about more details, but the really a successful collaboration was made. So based on those experiences, we start discussing about this future vision. So basically, you see the consensus statement number 1 appears in the upper half of the screen. So it's really simple, but the ECORD and Japan agreed to build up a joint scientific ocean drilling program. So as you see in the left-hand side upper corner, we have a 2050 science framework. And based on this science program, we will run this ECORD-Japan SOD program. This partnership is made through MOU. And basic principles of the program is kind of same as what we have during at the current IODP, which is a single international science framework and international staffing of expeditions and advisory panels, and transparent and open, flexible, and international program-wide standard policy and guidelines. And sustainable management of knowledge-based resources and public access to knowledge-based resources. So basically, the current philosophy is carry on to our ECORD-Japan scientific ocean drilling program. And then we discussed about how to run this program. Consensus statement number 3 saying ECORD and Japan agreed to establish a joint operation advisory committee in the post-2024 ECORD-Japan SOD program. So this operation advisory committee is currently so-called the facility board, but we changed the name, and this name is just a tentative. This is not we will find a more good name for this committee, but basically this committee is working for both ECORD platform and Japanese platform. So the working group will soon start working on establishment, working for the terms of reference of this committee. And then you see the upper half, science framework working group consensus, and it said, consensus statement number 2 said implementation 2050 science framework must be driven by a common proposal process, powered by bottom-up submission proposal prepared by international teams of scientists and developed through an open, transparent, and merit-based peer review process. And also everybody understands that the current panel and the facility board are working well and should be used as a starting point to develop a new scientific advisory structure in support of the innovative 2050 science framework. Also, all proposals should come through a common review process, and the new scientific advisory structure should prioritize promoting important science endeavor and project. So our working group, ECORD-Japan working group, made a consensus statement, another consensus statement, which is the ECORD-Japan Scientific Ocean Drilling Program needs service of an SSO Science Support Office equivalent for proposal and data management, as well as those of SEP equivalent and EPSCP equivalent for proposal evaluation. So we basically agree that in our program, we need function of science support office, as well as those science evaluation panel and environmental protection panels. So with those, our ECORD-Japan program, foundation of our ECORD-Japan program. But we are furthermore thinking about a vision of an alliance. So as you see in this diagram, in the left-hand side bottom corner, we have our ECORD-Japan program, which I just told. And then to the right, the other programs like program A, B, C, and D. It's standing parallelly with our program. And in the middle, it said national and consortia programs. So below this box, like our program or program A or program B, those are the national or consortium level programs for scientific ocean drilling. And above there, we can see the Science Support Office, Science Evaluation Panel, and the Environmental Protection Safety Panel. So though our vision is those function, the upper function, those function will be a common facility for all those programs. And overall, we call alliance. And this alliance could connect to, you see that right-hand side corner, other science programs or initiatives such as ICDP. And this structure is matched with the Science Framework Working Group consensus. Implementation of the 2050 Science Framework will benefit from portfolio of drilling platforms and techniques made available through continued international collaboration. Such a portfolio might include prioritized access to global ranging platforms, ice cover and shallow water regions, and deep drilling in challenging environment. So it looks like a current IODP, but actually it's totally different because currently the Science Support Office or other panels are connected to the US Facility Board. Although in this alliance concept, each programs are independent, but those common structure, so each program use this common structure and make this alliance. So we start thinking about upper half is about our program. So MOU or terms of reference or building a partnership will continue effort till the start of this program, which is first quarter of 2025. And below there, if the other programs willing to join this alliance and working together for implement of the or execution of the 2050 Science Framework, we start talking about this alliance concept. So this is a kind of view of the future, or our view of the future at this moment. So until 2024, current IODP continues. And from 2025, a new program starts. And I know most of us is already here that the JL could or might extend their life to 2028. So if that's the case, during that period, we have our program plus US global ranging fixed platform as JL, and China might join with their platform or their program. And also ANZIC or India, the current IODP partners will join either of those programs or their own national program. And again, connection with ICDP is really important, especially for this land to sea proposals. I think that's what I have today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nobu. Thank you so much. I say again that questions on what has been said, you can already type them in the chat, but we will address that later. So now the floor is for Miki Strasser and Ikehara-san on ECORD Japan collaboration at its best, IODP expedition 386 on paleoseismology. So Miki, is you starting, right?
Yes, thank you very much, Angelo, and welcome everybody. I hope you can hear me and see my slides.
Yes, all very well, thank you.
It's a really great pleasure and honor for Ken and me and yeah, our expedition to be able here to briefly present this expedition, and it's obviously an honor as well that we are considered a success story for ECORD Japan collaboration. As one of the success stories in international scientific drilling ever since, successful collaboration is when great people work together. So before I start here, I truly want to acknowledge the great science party we have, all members, but equally important, everybody involved from ESO and MARE3, and certainly even more and many people in various roles, in various boards and behind the scene or before it is in front of the curtain that actually made this collaboration possible. So this is a great acknowledgement for everybody involved. And before I further outline some key elements of this successful collaboration, let me very briefly introduce you to the overarching goal and objectives of this expedition. Paleoseismology is in the title, and paleoseismology is the study of sediments and rocks for sign of Asian earthquakes. And it is used to supplement seismic monitoring for the calculation of seismic risk. So as illustrated on that graph here that plots earthquake occurrence since 1900 to something like the day before yesterday, we see that actually for the knowledge about so-called giant earthquakes, which are earthquakes which reach magnitude 9 and higher and have this devastating impacts on infrastructure and society, as we have learned from the events in Sumatra and Japan some 11 years ago. It is evident that the short timescale of seismological monitoring limits our perspective of earthquake maximum magnitude and recurrence. And this is where IODP comes in to examine prehistoric events preserved in the geological record. So our expedition aims at testing and developing these emerging science disciplines of submarine paleoseismology to advance our capability of assessing earthquake and tsunami hazard as one of the flagship initiative actually of the 2050 science framework. And to this end, we do this expedition in the Japan Trench, and the objective of this studies of this expedition are listed here. So it's basically threefold. We aim at identifying the various proxies of event deposits that allow us to distinguish and recognizing and dating past magnitude 9 class earthquake versus smaller or other driving mechanisms. And we have to do this on a large spatial and temporal distribution scale, so we can investigate the along strike and time-dependent variability of the various processes influencing the event deposits to then eventually develop a long-term earthquake record for giant earthquake. So IODP Expedition 386 is special in many ways. And first, and I just outlined that, it is pioneering coordinated international research in submarine paleoseismology as key tool to address the flagship initiatives in the 2050 science framework. And that's why we are here. It is the first, actually the first collaborative operation between IODP operators, with ECORD and Japan jointly working together to make this expedition a success. It is also the first ever use of giant piston coring within IODP, along with all the technical methodological modification, curational logging, core analysis procedure, and standard operation protocols that guarantee the high quality of IODP standard. So giant piston coring is obviously a new tool in IODP, and it kind of follows this mission-specific platform philosophy, if you want, so from ECORD, which already in the current program, and certainly as we just heard, in joint collaboration then in the joint program with Japan to further diversify the drilling and coring technology, to also be able to apply such coring multi-sites in ultra deep water of a subduction trench as it is needed to address subduction zone earthquake history. And this only makes it kind of, you know, feasible and payable to have so many sites in so deep water depth. So it was reaching out for new frontiers also in terms of water depth, and we succeeded in having 2 records within the international ocean drilling programs. So we were able to achieve the deepest site ever drilled and cored, and the deepest sub-level sample ever recorded in something like a more than 8-kilometer water depth, more meter below seafloor. And this makes it the first ever high spatial and temporal resolution sampling of a Huddle oceanic trench that forms the deepest and least explored environment of our planet. So in order now to come a bit to kind of the history on how this how this collaboration developed, I would like to take you back 11 years. So March 11 magnitude 9 earthquake was kind of the kickoff of this collaboration, when we were collaborating already within IODP on different aspects, but it was really the devastating earthquake that started various initiatives, and among, I just would like to highlight 2 here. There were many other immediate response expeditions, but certainly, at least from my and from the European perspective, maybe the Sonne cruise was instrumental, where Gerald Wefert, former director of Marum, were able to bring a German ship just within 1 year of the earthquake to help the Japanese science community to better understand this earthquake and what happened there. So that was the first time when I met Kenny Gehara on board and where we collaborated. But then also, and this is a success story within IODP as well, there were various different types of workshops from different perspectives. And so this J-Track initiative led by Kodaira-san was about really tracking the tsunamigenic slip in the Japan Trench. And that was the first proposal that we submitted in 2013, where actually this was a complex drilling pre-proposal, where we wanted, where paleoseismology just was one of the objectives. And so there was from a lot of international collaboration, talking, the workshop development. That was when basically the paleoseismology part of this overarching J-Track vision was created. And then a series of more workshops, lots of basically the international community endorsed the concept of this proposal and its need to develop this in the Japan Trench. And then after a few site surveys, again in Japanese and Europe collaboration aspects, where we were for all these site surveys, where we already joined a lot of forces and helped each other out for difficult conditions. So that was truly a friendship-based collaboration to get there, where the ECORD Facility Board eventually implemented this mission-specific platform, and where, like, on the official level, ECORD and MARE 3 started to collaborate. Although scientifically and from the development level, this has already been a success story since several years. And here I would like to give over to my good friend and colleague Kenny Gehara, who now will introduce you to the actual expedition.
Okay, thank you, Mihi. Please go to next slide. Yeah, so based on such a history, we conducted the offshore phase of our expedition, but the implementation was not so easy. So because COVID-19 had stuck in our way, actually. So our offshore phase was postponed 1 year from 2020 to 2021, and was done only by the Japan-based scientists and EPMs in last years. So we use Jamstack vessel Kaimei. That's a very nice ship, and her 40-meter long giant piston coring systems. Next, please. Okay, next. Okay, so we have 50 days offshore phase. That was a really tough cruise because we had not experienced 50 days long GPC operation yet. So, and of course, we conducted this cruise on early in the springtime. So several atmospheric flow come our areas, and also works on board were really hard. So, but ESO team and co-chief Mihi provide us a main good support for our success. And finally, we took a totally more than 800-meter GPC course from the 58 holes and after 15 sites from the entire Japan Trench. Next, please. So after the successful offshore phase by Kaimei, we plan to prepare all more than 800-meter long GPC in onshore science party, OSP. Originally, we planned to OSP in November to December in 2021, but again, the COVID-19 stood before us. So OSP postponed to February to March 2022 this year on Chikyu, and that OSP was conducted again by the Japan-based scientists as onshore members. And the other science members worked as a remote scientist to support onshore members and to analyze obtained data. It was really abnormal, but Jamstack Marshall well collaborated with ESO team, and JDesk helped us to provide their lab assistant from the Japanese university. So we could complete core preparation, including the core description and primary measurements successfully last month. Now we scientists were making the draft of the expedition report. Next, please. So our ECORD-Japan collaboration is really deep, but it's not finished. We plan to have a personal sampling party also on Chikyu later in this year. Indeed, more collaboration, not only among the science member team, but also between ECORD and Japan, Jamstack, Marshall, and also JDesk. We believe our expedition is a good example, but and the start of deep collaboration between the two operators. And we really hope to continue much deeper collaboration for future ocean drilling and understanding of the wonder of the Earth. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mickey and Ken. Of course, I think we all hope that any similar expedition in the future will not be affected by the restrictions imposed by COVID that really impacted both on the onshore and offshore phases of your expedition. And I think that what you have done in spite of the difficulties is really exceptional.